welcome to Wednesday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where we have a colourful looking offering today by Knickolas. That's Knickolas with a K, of course. Now, I remember doing battle with Knickolas's puzzle it was 2 or 3 months ago on the channel. It was an absolute beast, but it was so good that Knickolas actually made a video explaining how he'd set that puzzle. It was an incredible thing. This one we've had recommended. I think this is a pretty new puzzle, but we've had it recommended fulsomely a couple of times by people we trust. And apparently this is a lot easier than Knickolas's first puzzle. So this is what we're going to have a go at. It's called Build Your Own Between Lines. And you might be able to see the rules on the screen. But we'll go through those rules properly in a moment or two. I have some things to tell you about first. In fact, the first thing I need to do is apologies, because there have been a couple of birthdays I've missed over the last couple of days. Now, this is all to do with the kerfuffle that Mark and I have had in terms of OBS and recording ourselves on the screen at the same time. We still haven't recorded the DIMONO video because, well, basically 2 reasons. Firstly, we need to have what we think will be at least a 2-hour stretch of continuous time where we're both available because it's a DIMONO puzzle. And secondly, we needed to get the technology to work so that we could both see the puzzle and record it at the same time, and record our faces, etc. And that has proved completely and utterly beyond us. But we think we're nearly there with that. And we might have a 2-hour window tomorrow. So maybe tomorrow will be the day. But I'd sort of written down birthdays a couple of days ago that I was intending to do for in that DIMONO video, and then forgot to transfer them over when the DIMONO video didn't happen. This is all a very long-winded way of saying I owe apologies to Henry, who turned 24 on May the 15th. And Henry, I'm very sorry I didn't read out your birthday then. But your partner Gabrielle wrote to us over there in, I think it's St. Louis, Missouri, isn't it? I always get confused whether it's St. Louis or St. Louis, but I think it's St. Louis, Missouri. Although you were in Denver for your birthday, if I'm not mistaken. I hope you did find good cake there. Brian, a couple of days ago, it was your birthday, and Teresa wrote to us about that. And Brian, I'm sorry I missed it. And also Marcel turned 31, and that went by unannounced. And the testers, Marcel, are looking at your Hayawaki hybrid puzzles, although I haven't had any feedback on them yet, so maybe there will be a late birthday present to come at some point. And then Kevin turned 16 yesterday, on the same day that his dad turned 45, the secret number. That's very well organised of Kevin's dad in particular. And you had your driving test yesterday afternoon, Kevin, I think. I hope it went well. Let us know. And then in terms of birthdays today, it's Eliza's birthday, and I know this because your boyfriend Josh wrote to us, Eliza, to tell us he loves you and to give you a shout out. And then Emily, you've turned 21, and that's your boyfriend Michael who's let us know about that. And yeah, I think that's all the birthdays, although I'm so paranoid. I think that is all the birthdays. So there we go. I hope all of you had sufficient cake, that it was marvellous. And then the only other thing I need to mention, which is big news, is yesterday we released this new kids Sudoku hunt from Panthera and the Asylum over there on Patreon. Do check it out. We're already hearing that a lot of big kids have been enjoying it. Let's say, over 40-year-old kids. But yeah, especially if your kids have a go at it and enjoy it, we'd love to hear your stories about that. So let us know. And you've still got 3 days left to enter DIMONO's Jewels of Osiris Sudoku Hunt / novella. So the time is running out on that one. That's all the news. Let's get on with building our own between lines and see what Knickolas has constructed for us. So these are the rules of the puzzle. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Each pair of circles of the same colour are connected by a hidden between line. Each between line may not branch, move diagonally, or take up a full 2x2 area. Separate between lines may not overlap, and cells along a between line must have values between those in the circles at the ends of that line. So let's look at this green line. What I think this is saying is, let's use green to draw the line. And if you don't know how I'm doing this, make sure you click on the cog icon on your screens, and that will bring up this menu and enable the pen tool. And Sven has enabled us to draw lines, which is rather good. So we can't draw diagonal lines. Whoops, I just did. Lost my army. So let's draw a line that goes... Oh, hang on, we can't have 2 by 2s either, so I'll just draw a straight line. The way this rule works is, let's say that this square was a 2 and this square was an 8. Now the cells along the line would have to be between the values of 2 and 8. So these cells would have to be made up of 3, 4, 5s, 6s and 7s in order for the between line to be valid. And I think this would be a valid between line because it doesn't seem to branch, it doesn't move diagonally, and I don't think it takes up a 2 by 2 area. So this could be a correct between line, which would be serendipitous indeed, but I doubt it's right. But that's it. Do have a go at the puzzle. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. But now I get to play. Let's get cracking. And I will reveal at the very start of the solve a secret about between lines, which I'm guessing is going to be relevant here. The secret is that on a between line, admittedly we don't know where any of the between lines are, but you can never put 1s and 9s on between lines. Because obviously if you put a 1 on the line, one of the circles would have to contain a 0 or a negative number, and that won't work. We've got one digit given in a circle. Yeah, so there's something going on at the bottom here, I think. There's definitely something going on at the bottom here. Because I'm looking at this circle and I'm wondering what it's got in it. And I'm sure most of you are seeing why this is difficult, but if I make this a 1 or a 9, which is the most extreme digit, i.e. the furthest away I could make this digit from 5, would be a 1 or a 9 in this cell. That means I have to make my between line. Well, if I put 1 in here, my between line has to be 2, 3 and 4. And if I put a 9 in here, my between line has to be 6, 7 and 8. And I'm not seeing immediately a way of connecting this line. Oh, well, of drawing the line, let's use grey. Well, I think it'll work, yeah. So, I mean, I can't do that, can I? And the reason I can't do that is there are four different digits on the line, and I'm only allowed to use 2, 3 and 4. And if I avoid doing that and I wibble and wobble and do that, now I've got 4 different digits in box 8. And that's not going to work either. Let me just mull this over. This is like one of those IQ tests where, you know, you're given a question, you know there's a solution to it, but you can't quite see how it works. I mean, I just cannot see a way that I can join these up through box 8. And that is a terrifying thought, because that means I've got to draw this grey line, and however I draw it, I'm going to disconnect. Oh no, okay, all right. I'm going to somehow disconnect. So let's just draw in an imaginary line. I could still join the blues up, couldn't I? Just with a very long line. Right. Okay, so this is Knickolas's trick, isn't it? We're going to have to draw well, but this can never be on the between line because that's a 9. Yeah, I haven't quite got my head around this, but I think fundamentally we can say one or two things now, and these are axiomatic. The most number of digits that I can put on the grey line is 3, and that would be if I make this a 1 or a 9. So somehow I have to join these circles together only using 3 different digits. Now, if I go straight up like this, that feels to me like it's broken, because yes, I could make these 3 different digits, but where does the line then go? It can't go into the 9, and if it goes into the 4, I can't get the line out of box 4, because I can only ever put 3 digits in a box. Yeah, so our task here is to join the 2 greys up using only 3-digit sequences. And when I say a 3-digit sequence, I mean I'm only ever allowed to have 3 grey digits in a column, in a row, or in a box. So if I can't do that, and I can't come into this box, at least not directly, I could wobble like that. Then I've got to avoid a 2 by 2. So something like that would work, and that would get me into box 5. Yeah, that does work, doesn't it? So just let me highlight that for a moment. But there's ambiguity. Right. This is tricky. This is tricky, because what I'm seeing here is this doesn't have to be in. I could do that. Oh, but then then that would have to come out, and I'd have to do this. So it's something like this. We can delete those 2. These 2 I think are forced. I've got 3 cells to get out of this box. And I can't connect with this, so I must come through this. I can never get to here. I can't, that junction is impossible, that junction is impossible, so I must come up into the 4. And that tells me this is a 1, I think. I think we can say it's a 1 because we're going to have to take 3 different cells in box 7. So I need every degree of freedom I can possibly muster. So I come into here. I've got to get out of this box in 2 moves, basically. So I could come here and go there, because I can't go through the 9. Or I can come here, and I can't go here. Because if I go here and try, I've got 4 digits in the same column. So I'm going to have to try and get out with alacrity. So this is a junction on the grey line. Now, well, the thing I'm just trying to do now is to, I presume our grey line's going to come through here somewhere. I'm just mulling over for a moment whether it's possible the grey line, I don't know how it would do it, but if it did something like that. That would be hilarious if it did that. To do that, it would have to, this junction would have to be used, or that one, I suppose. No, I think it would have to be this one, because if I do that and then that, I've got no move left. Oh no, I could come back down here. I have got a move left. But then I can't get through this box. Oh, maybe it's as simple as that. How do you get through this box? Yes. Wow. Oh, right. This is really interesting, actually. I love this sort of thing. Okay. So, here are the thoughts. How do I connect blue? Well, blue's going to have to take some cells in this box, isn't it? Because however I connect grey, blue has to... Well, in fact, those have to be blue, I suppose. That's a simple deduction, isn't it? Let's do that. But also, blue's going to have to come out down round the edge of grey. And then either this way... Now, blue isn't restricted because we could make these 1s and 9s. And then we've got 7 digits to put on the line. So we don't have to worry about the whole sort of febrile nature of grey, where we're only allowed to put 3 digits in a box in grey. But if we were going to try to get grey to come through box 6, how could we do that? 1, 2, 3, 4, that's too many. We could do those 3, but then that would be a 4th grey in a column, and we know that's not allowed either. So there is no way to get grey to come through this box. And if it can't come through this box, it must go through this box somehow. It must go... Right, well, it's got to go round the 9 then, so it's got to do that. Now it can't take this cell, or that's a 4th grey cell, so it crosses here. And then it's got to get to here. Right, we can't do that string, because that's 4 greys in a row. So I think this is the junction, isn't it? The way that grey gets into box 8. So this is blue. So this is blue, because blue has to connect. Oh, and I see, yeah, and I've got 3 greys in this column. So we've actually almost connected this. Oh, we have connected it now. This is absolutely beautiful. Look at this square. That cannot be grey, because that would be 4 greys in the row. So that's not grey, so this is grey. So now I've got 3 greys in this column, which means this is grey. There we go. That is the grey line, which is not the first line I think we all thought was going to be grey when we first looked at the puzzle. And now, well, maybe not now, but at some point we now have to think about how on earth we're going to connect this blue up. The problem with the blue is it could go the top side of the green. Which I would really admire if it did that. Okay, but now look, that's a 4 by Sudoku, because we know the digits we're looking for with grey are 2, 3 and 4, so I've got to put 2, 3 and 4 in every one of these grey sort of triominoes, and then 4's got to be 4 here. 4, 4, this is a 4 by Sudoku, that's not a 4, this is a 4, we've got a whole congregation of 2, 3 pairs. Now, could we colour those if we needed to? Oh, yes, we could. So that's probably going to be necessary at some point. Right, okay. Now, what on earth do we do now? I see. Right, this is lovely. Look at this 9. Where does 9 go in this box? Now, at first blush, it looks like it can go anywhere, but remember, it can never go on a between line. So it can't. It could go in a circle, absolutely, but that circle's out of bounds because it's in the same column. So we have to put 9 there. Right, and now, blue can't go there. So blue goes here, and then we ask where 1 goes in this box because it's not got many places it can go. It's got to go in the circle. Oh, this is just sensational. Right, oh, right, well, we do know where 1 goes in this box. Because it can't go in the corner, or our between line would be made up of digits between the value of 1 and the value of 1. And there aren't many of those digits, so that's got to be 1. This has probably got to be 9. But I'm not sure we can actually state that with certainty at this point. Oh, no, we can. We can. The way to do that is to realise that in this box now, these squares are 5, 6, 7 and 8, which means there is an 8 on the blue line. And if there's an 8 on the blue line, we have to frame the 8 with 1s and 9s on the, well, with a 9 on the edge. So this is going to have to be the 9 because this is a 1. Now these squares are 6, 7 and 8. I've got a horrible feeling Knickolas is going to make us do Sudoku soon. There's a 4 in one of those squares. I will do a little bit of cursory Sudoku. A very little bit. No, okay, actually, easier than that. There's a 2, 3, 4 triple in that box. There's a 2, 3, 4 triple in that box. So that is in fact a 2, 3, 4 triple. And we know that's not 4. So, okay, so where do we put 1 in this column then? Remember, 1 can't go on the line. So 1 is going to go here, and therefore is out of bounds for the line. So we have to go there for our blue thingy. This is amazing. It's amazing to be able to set something like this because it's so beautiful. Now look where 9 goes in this box. Remember, 9 can't go on the line. So 9's got to go there. And if 9 goes there, the line can't go through there. So then now the blue line is on the top side of it's going to go outside the green line. So now that's got to be a string. Because if the blue does this, it's cutting the green off. So that is a string of blueliness. It's the same. It's the same again. Where does 9 go? Up here now. This is mad because this is going to send now the blue line is penned in by a 9 and a green. So it's got to go that way. So it's got to go round the 9 on the top side of it. And we haven't put 1 in the box, but 1 could go here, look. And that would shield it from being in this square, which would push the blue even higher. Wow. Okay. 8 in this box is in one of those 2 squares. And so these are not 8. So this is now a 6, 7 pair, which means that's an 8. So these 2 squares are a 5, 8 pair. And these squares are a 6, 7 pair. Whoopsie. We want to do central pencil marking. And we must know what that digit is. That's a 5 by Sudoku. So these digits are 1, 6 and 7 by Sudoku, and that's not 7. And that's not 1 because it's on a between line. And this, well, that's the end of a between. That's very likely to be a 1, I think. Oh, look, where does 5 go in this box? It is Sudoku. More Sudoku to do. So now these squares are 2, 3 and 4, which is the same as those up there. Do we know we go in the corner? We've got 2 opportunities for 3s in corners. Well done, Knickolas. I'm not sure now. I'm getting stuck. 1 in this box is in one of those 2 cells. I was about to say 9 is as well. That's total nonsense. So 9 is over here. 9 can't go on the line. 9 is in one of these 2. 9 is in one of those 3. 8 is in one of those 2 by Sudoku. I think we're going to get stuck now. It was going quite well. Do we know which direction this goes? It's either going to go here or here. And we know if it goes here, this would have to be a 6 because it couldn't be a 1. That would push the 1 down here, which would mean this square has to be... it's got to be a few away from this digit, hasn't it? Because however we sort of wobble around the green... Actually, we can't... have to be a bit careful about how the green wobbles, because we've got to leave enough room for the blue to get through, don't we? So actually, that might be worth thinking about. Let's push the blue as far away from the green as we can. What would that do? That would look like that. And the only thing I see that's relevant there, or might be relevant, is that now this green is out of bounds for this 4 is out of bounds for green. Because if the green ever comes up there, you can see that. Let me try and show you. I mean, let's do it like that then. Well, that's going to make a 2 by 2. Actually, I can't do it like that. Let's do it like this. So it just gets penned in. There's just no way. Once the blue goes round it, this is either a cul-de-sac or its forces a 2 by 2. So I don't know how to show this, but this cell is not green. But it needn't be on a line. Right. Okay, so now I'm starting to be confused about how exactly I'm meant to. These squares are 6, 7 and 8. That's not 7. I mean, I'm sure there is enough information to... Oh, 2, 3 and 4 again. I've got 2, 3, 4 triple here by Sudoku. Oh! I was about to bemoan the fact I didn't think there was enough information, but suddenly that being a 2, 3 or 4 makes me question whether this can be a 1. I mean, if this was 4, let's just look at this. If this was 4 and this was 1, no, you can't do that. And the reason for that is that the only digits that are therefore available on the between line are 2 and 3. And how are you ever going to cross column 5? You can't put a 2 or a 3 on a green line in column 5 because we've already got a 2 and a 3 there. So this is not going to work, and that means this square is not a 1, and that's going to do some business. So this is 1. The blue line comes over the top. The green line has to come here because it can't go to the 1 or the 9. We can't put those on between lines. So this square's blue, because the blue has to find a way through Scylla and Charybdis in the form of the purple and the green. Okay. I'm very sceptical this could be a 4. I mean, if this is a 4, we run into the same problem, but I mean, if that's a 4, this has to be a 7 to give us the most room, and we'd have to complete the line between these greens with only using the digits 5 and 6. So we'd have to go up here, which pushes blue over the top. 5, 6. We'd have to go there. That would be a 5, 6. This would be a 7. And we have to then go there to avoid a 2 by 2, and we're going to get repeated. I mean, it's a little bit complicated to see, but I think just having these 2 digits apart, it just doesn't work, does it? Especially not with 5s and 6s, because our next digit could be there, for example. We can't even put 5 and 6 in this row. It just doesn't work. You have to go there as your next move. And where do we go after that, given that blue is taking all this real estate? We have to go there, and we've got no digits available. So that is not a 4. And that's freeing up a little bit of space. So now we've got if this was 2 and 7, we'd have 3, 4, 5 and 6 to play with. It is still tricky though, this, because box 5... Ooh, okay, here's a thought. Box 5 needs an 8 in it somewhere. Well, when I say box 5, this row needs an 8 in it. So there's an 8 in one of these squares. So what we can't do now is just stripe green across here, because we know we're only things we are allowed to put in green are things between a maximum of 2 and 7. So this digit, by Sudoku and sort of between lines, is either 3, it can't be 4 or 5. It could be 6 if this is 7. So this is 3 or 6 only. Right, here's a lovely thought. Here is a lovely thought. Yeah, never talk to me at parties. How is that square green now? It can't be. It can't be because of the way that this will be forced to move. If this square's green, we've got to do that to continue the green. And then our next digit's impossible. We can't go there, or there will be an 8 in green. And we can't go there, or we create a 2 by 2 in green. So actually, this square is not in green, which means this is in green. And this square, again, let's try the same trick, because we're still seeing 4 and 5 here in this square. And, oh, hang on, and 2 and 3. 3, I want to say this has to be a 6, but I might be wrong. It has to be a digit. It has to be from 3, 4, 5 and 6. It sees 3, 4 and 5. It is a 6. Which means that is a 3. Which, oh, and that's beautiful. Right, that's going to do all my 2s and 3s. 2, 3, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2. And there's a 6 on the line. So this has to be a 7. Oh, this is so pretty. And there's a 3 on the line, so this has to be a 2. So suddenly everything's getting a little bit more sorted out. And well, I don't think this cell can be on the between line, can it? Because by Sudoku and between line logic, it needs to be from 3, 4, 5 and 6. And it sees 3, 4, 5 and 6, so that must be green. Which means that must be green, which means this must be 8, because we can't put 8 on the line. Which means this is not 8. Which means we've got a 6, 7 pair in the column, which is in, look at that, that's just giving us a 6, 7 pair here. I wonder how we know whether the blue does that or that. The blue has to go through here now. These squares can't be 3 and 4, so they have to be 5 and 6 to be between the 2 and the 7, and we know the order. So that's 5, that's 6. This is not 6. This is not 6. So that's a 6. Oh, see, so that's 7, that's 6. And we need, oh, right. So now the question is, where does 1 go in this column? And it can't go on the line, so the 1 goes at the top, and that's what forces the blue line down. That's what I was worried about. I couldn't see how we were going to do that. That forces the blue line down. This can't make a 2 by 2, so it has to close. This is, oh, there's a 3, 4 pair there, right? So we're not going to be able to do that, I don't think. Right, this is a 1, 7 pair by our old friend Sudoku. So this is an 8, this is a 7. This column, what's it not got in it? An 8, so it needs an 8. This is a 2, 5, 9 triple. And this purple has just been connected to its friend because the blue's pushed into its other possible movement. So the purple is finished. The green is finished, although we don't know what that one is. Can we... What else could we do with this knowledge then? We can't put 9 on the blue line. That can't be 5 by Sudoku. Right. Okay. I'm sure there are a myriad of points that I'm missing now. Right, where does 1 go in this box? It can't go on the line, and it can't go there by Sudoku, so it goes here. Oh, this is gorgeous. Look at, I love the way that the 1s and 9s are being used to force the shapes here. Look, this has to be a 1 by Sudoku now, and now the blue line has to go this way, which means it's got to go through this junction, which stops this being a 9. That can't be a 9. It's on the line now. So this is a 9. This is a 9. That's now off limit. So the line closes with alacrity down this column. Okay. 9, 9. Oh, we can. Oh, no, in fact, we do. Look, 9, 9 in this column goes here. That stops this being a 9. So that forces that to be a 9. This digit seems to have an awful lot of possibilities. Although, no. Oh, that's gorgeous. How could this be 5? Well, that can't be 6, 7 or 8. So that doesn't work. That's got to be 2. That's got to be 5. Still a possibility of a 3 in the corner up here. 3, 4 and 5. So this is 3, 4 or 5. There's a 3 in the corner possibility here. All sorts of possibilities for 3s in corners. 2, 3 and 6. Look, that being a 9 forces the shape of the blue. Oh, whoopsie. The blue has to come through here now. We must avoid this 1. So we have to go over the top through the 7. And look. So the only one that we've got left to build is the yellow, but the yellow can't go through a 9. So the yellow goes down there, which means this can't be a 1 now. So that's 7, that's 1. So this, that needs to be 8. It's got to frame the 7. So that's 8. Right, what's going on in this box? 1, 2, 3, 4. We need 5, 6 and 7. We can get the 6. So that's a 6 in row 2. This is a 5, 7 pair. The given 7 is helpful. So 7 and 5 go in. Still 3, 4. So this is the only place for 5 in row 1. Oh goodness, this must nearly be done now, I think, because I think we've done a lot of the really tricky stuff. This column, that 2 is doing work. Oh, we didn't get a 3 in the corner. We got a. Oh, but we do. We get one there. And that's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. And there we go. Very good, Knickolas. Very good. That's what we wanted to see. 7 and 5. These squares are 2 and 8, which we can do. 3 and 4 must be done. Right, what's doing all this? Is it just our old friend Sudoku? It is. There we go. We've just done it. That's stunning. That is simply stunning. And it is correct. And my timer worked. And it's been solved 20 times. That's quite high, actually. I suppose it's a new puzzle, so that's probably why it's been solved a bit very recently. That's just absolutely gorgeous. I love the whole idea. I love the fact that, I mean, this must have been the idea, that if you separate these by just this little sort of Tigger bounce offset, and put a 5 in one of the circles, it means you can't close the line with any sort of efficient path. And then that forcing the path upwards does beautiful things to the blue line. But the way it unfolded and the way that the 1s and 9s kept on being pitched around the grid into useful places to build the line further and further, isn't that stunning? That was beautiful. Absolutely loved it. Knickolas, take a bow again. And I hope you had a go. Let me know in the comments how you got on. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.